Think of them as built-in tools you can activate anytime you need clarity, calm, and vocal reset. Welcome to the Foster Your Voice podcast with me, Christy Foster. After a 30-year career in music and theater, I never imagined I'd be coaching trial attorneys. But once I entered your world, I quickly realized how critical and underutilized voice is in the courtroom. The truth is, you don't win trials with brute strength. You win with your voice. I'll give you tools to unlock your voice so you can communicate not just with purpose, but on purpose. If you want quick action tips to help you stay calm and in control, keep jurors engaged, and inspire your listeners to action, all through the power of your voice, you're in the right place. I'm Christy Foster, and I'm here to help you foster your voice. Hello, Foster fam. Welcome again. We're on episode 28, which is exciting. So thanks again for coming along for this fun podcasting ride. Hey, have you already picked up your pacing and pausing free guide? I have actually had several conversations just this week about how even if you don't feel like you have a fast speaking cadence, there's still a need to be pausing a lot more than what you think is correct. So I made a guide to help figure out how often you need to insert a pause. And I included a few opening statement samples to practice with. And I even go through how to track your timing with a stopwatch. So, not that I want you to get strict and regimented, but it would be good to get a little measuring stick, so to speak. So, pick up your free guide. It's called Pace and Pause. Pick it up at fostervoicestudio.com/pace and pause. Just put all those words together, pace and pause. Now, today we're going to be talking about a really great mental, physical, and vocal reset that's easy to do. You're already doing it, you just don't realize it. But before we get there, I want to share two more reasons on how the Tour de France reminds me of the hard work you do as litigators. It's the middle of July, and we have just one more week left of the tour, so indulge me here. But also, there are some remarkable similarities. So to review, it's a sport of attrition. You have to outlast the antics of the defense and keep up your stamina and focus until the end. Second is that this is a team sport with an individual leader, which piggybacks on the third point that everyone has a critical role. You know just how many people it takes to put on a good trial, and everyone has an important function on the trial team. Strategy is better than brute strength. It's not just about raw aggression to push through. You have to know when to pace differently, when to settle a case, or when to take it to a jury. So today I want to point out that trial work, like the tour, requires mental and emotional stamina. In the Tour de France, writers have to manage pain, doubt, media pressure, team dynamics, all while staying upright on a bike and going 50 miles an hour. As attorneys, you balance client emotions, courtroom stress, long hours, and high stakes. Like writers, you have to perform under pressure, and sometimes for years on a single case. And like the tour, finding success in trial is done by repetition and training. In the tour, writers train year-round for one chance. Winning can take years of preparation, coaching, and refinement. And your trial skills, storytelling, vocal control, juror connection, those are built through repetition, mentorship, and emotional growth. No one becomes great with a single verdict or overnight. So be sure to let me know if you're watching the tour with me. We have just one more week and two more great comparisons to highlight. You know what I hate? Being misunderstood. It's actually one of my biggest fears, if I'm honest, right up there with birds. Yes, I'm afraid of birds. Leave me alone about it already. Being misunderstood is just the worst, though. Trying to communicate something and seeing that it's just not landing the way you intend. A too harsh of tone with your kid or spouse that ended up setting them off. A thinking face that got interpreted as annoyance or irritation and ended up shutting down the conversation and leaving you baffled. It's so frustrating in our personal lives, but in the courtroom, your mismatched communication profile could break your case and lose you a deserving verdict. So, I've created a free guide to get you thinking about the emotional profiles you create. It's a printable guide to help you 10x your communication impact by mastering 6 emotional profiles for clear and authentic connection. I break down the 6 core emotions: happy, sad, love, pride, anger, and fear by giving you face, body, and breathing cues. Plus, I show you exactly which point on a 1 to 10 scale you should be with your pitch, pace, melody, volume, and tone in order to authentically capture the center of that core emotion. The link to get your free guide is in the show notes or by simply going to my website, fostervoicestudio.com. Don't wait to clear up your part of miscommunication and misunderstandings. Get your free download today. If you've been listening for a while, you know I'm a big believer in practicing vocal technique in low stakes situations so that your body, your brain, and your nervous system are ready for when the high stakes moments come with your trial work. Today, I want to talk about one of the absolute easiest things you can do in your everyday life to prepare your voice and your nervous system: sighing. And if you're feeling bold, yawning. That's it. Sighing and yawning. These tiny, often overlooked moments can do so much more than you think, physically, mentally, and vocally. Now, I love a good yawn. I just soak it in. I don't let it just sneak out. I commit. Big stretch, audible sound, letting my body go full in. And you know what happens? Nothing. Nobody stares, nobody judges. In fact, I've sometimes gotten a wow, good yawn. And we laugh and we connect because the truth is, nobody cares. It's just not as much of a social faux pas as we've convinced ourselves it is. We've all been trained, especially those of us raised with good manners, to stifle yawns, to close our mouths, to avoid drawing attention. And yes, manners matter. There's a time and a place for manners, but there's also a time and a place to throw caution to the wind, ignore your manners, and this is not going to undo your professional credibility. I mean, don't go yawning really big in court, but outside of it, go for it. And the benefits far outweigh the fear of looking improper. So let's define this. A sigh is that spontaneous deep inhale followed by a slow, full exhale. It's often involuntary, but it can be done on purpose. So let's just do it together right now. Inhale. And when you do that simple thing, the benefits are amazing. Well, first of all, frequent sighing can be a sign that your body is under unacknowledged stress or mental overload. And you're like, gosh, you think? Your stress is not unacknowledged. But that sigh is your system's way of saying, hey, let's release some of this tension, shall we? Sighing is also a great way to help your body transition from one moment to another. You ever find yourself sighing after finishing a big project or coming out of a hard conversation? Or even after a workout? I do this all the time after my water aerobics class. Oh, that's your nervous system shifting gears. Now, here's the cool thing. Sighing helps expand the alveoli. Now, maybe I just think that's the cool thing, but those are the tiny air sacs in your lungs that can collapse or deflate over time, especially when your breathing is habitually shallow. So we want to get full expansion of the alveoli. When you sigh, you reset irregular breath patterns, restore oxygen flow, and signal your parasympathetic nervous system, that's your rest and digest mode, to go ahead and take over. In other words, you're telling your body, you're safe now. You've got this. Now, let's talk about yawning. It's not just a sign of being tired or bored. It's a complex functional signal, and it's super powerful. Yawning actually cools the brain. Seriously, yawning helps regulate brain temperature, which in turn improves mental focus. Isn't that cool? Literally, isn't that cool? Yawning also helps boost alertness. It's one of the brain's tricks to help us stay engaged. That deep intake of oxygen, the stretch of your jaw, the shift in your posture. It's like a system-wide refresh button. Now, something kind of bizarre about yawning is that it's contagious. Have you heard that before? Or maybe you've experienced it where you see someone yawn and then off you go, yawning too. You might even be yawning while you're listening to this or watching on YouTube. Just the suggestion of yawning is contagious. That's because of mirror neurons and emotional attunement. That moment when you catch someone else's yawn, you make eye contact, and both of you start laughing about it. That's human connection. That's shared experience, even on that silly, lighthearted level. And honestly, we wouldn't get that if we were committed to always being perfectly proper. Now, combining the two, the yawn and the sigh, these have been part of a vocal warm up for ages. Why? Well, they stretch facial and throat muscles. They increase oxygen and blood flow. They help the larynx relax, helping you access a more open, resonant space for speaking. And they stimulate the vagus nerve, which helps regulate your heart rate, digestion, and your sense of calm. So, if you're heading into court or a meeting or even just a long work session, try a yawn sigh. Sigh on purpose. Let it be audible, let your body follow. And if you fake it at first, that's fine. I just did. Eventually, your body will catch on and the real one will come. So try doing this throughout the day, before court or meetings, as just a nervous system reset. During your prep work, just to ease that shallow breathing and restore some focus, and in breaks between tasks to mark a mental transition and refresh your attention. Even though sighing and yawning are part of the autonomic nervous system, meaning they mostly happen involuntarily, you can make them intentional. Think of them as built-in tools you can activate anytime you need clarity, calm, and vocal reset. So again, let's just do this quick reset together. Take a long inhale through the nose Let out an audible sigh. Oh. Let your shoulders drop, your throat relaxes, and your chest expands. Feel your voice settle and your brain reset. It just gives you a second to get all those things in alignment. And it feels good, right? So yawn big, sigh loud, commit to the full body stretch. No one will judge you. Not really. You might even invite someone else into a shared laugh or a little moment of lightness. Maybe you'll even start a yawn chain and you'll win the room. You have more tools at your disposal than you realize, and your nervous system is always working to help you. You just have to let it. So, next time you're headed into something important, don't just run a mental checklist. Run a nervous system one, too. Yawn, sigh, reset, and as always, keep fostering your voice. Thanks for pulling up a seat with me today and for being part of the Foster fam. Make sure you're subscribed to the podcast so you don't miss a single episode. And while you're at it, go ahead and leave a review or a comment so I can give you a shout out on a future episode. During the week, you can find me on Instagram at Foster Voice Studio, where I'm dropping little nuggets of vocal technique and leadership wisdom. You can also join my mailing list by visiting fostervoicestudio.com or by clicking the link in the show notes. I'll send a weekly vocal tip every Tuesday directly to your inbox. Until then, keep fostering your voice.